2 years ago, Time magazine sent a reporter to Granbury, Texas. That reporter interviewed about 40 people who lived near a Bitcoin mining facility. And those people were experiencing symptoms that they believed were a result of that facility. The people that he interviewed were experiencing things like migraines, insomnia, vertigo, nausea, anxiety, and hearing loss. He interviewed a 77-year-old pastor who stopped sleeping and lost hearing in both ears and ended up in an emergency room with heart failure after many sleepless nights. Now, the reality is we do not know if the facility actually caused that to happen to those people. Correlation is not necessarily causation, but the fact that Time was investigating this as far as 2 years ago is bringing up what is now being reported as increasing concern around low frequency noise. Now, the concerns around this that Time was investigating and that many investigations are now starting to look at is something called ILFN, or infrasound and low frequency noise. These are basically sound frequencies that are on the lower end of the human hearing range or not even in the human hearing range at all. So in other words, it's being emitted, but you can't actually hear that noise. Now, what we're beginning to sort of try to understand is it looks like the cooling systems on these large data centers actually produce a lot of energy that is in that range. A 2026 study showed that exposure to infrasound raised cortisol levels in participants who did not know that the sound was present. Another research study is looking at cardiovascular effects in chronic low-frequency noise exposure. Now, one of the problems with this is that we measure sound in what is called A-rated decibels, and that is largely based on the human hearing systems. But these systems are producing and emitting energy below what we traditionally measure in how we consider things like industrial buildouts, the sound that is produced by these facilities. So in other words, a facility like this could be saying legally and truthfully that their facility is within the thresholds required by the systems we currently use to measure them. But it's what we are not measuring that candidly we just don't know. And I want to be very clear. A lot of this is just we need more data, we need more research, and we need better tools to measure it. But even while we're trying to get more information about these low frequency and infrasound, we know that some of these facilities are using natural gas turbines to generate power, and those systems can generate noise at 105 decibels. To give you an example, a chainsaw is going to run at like 90 decibels. And while those gas turbines are producing noise, which is measurably problematic, we don't yet know enough about infrasound other than the reports that people believe that it is making them sick, which is why many scientists feel that we have to study this more and that we have to get better tools to understand. Is infrasound making people sick? Well, we don't know, but we have to find out.